Welcome in. Harzine Bazookian here with you for another episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Hope you all have had a great Thanksgiving week. A great Red Friday, maybe a little too stressful afternoon of a Red Friday. Boy, what are we going to talk about here? Oh, yeah, another way too intense and close Chiefs win as the Chiefs. They are now in the playoffs. They're in the playoffs. They're 11-1 on the season, 6-0 at home. They've defeated the Raiders. They've swept the Raiders this season. Nope. No Christmas miracle tonight, Raiders fans. I know Raiders fans were looking forward to all of that, but it's a Chiefs win. It's a Chiefs win. Was there some luck involved? Yeah, there was. Is there anything wrong with that? No, not really. Are there a lot of things to improve on? Absolutely. A lot of things the Chiefs need to work on in the month of December as we're getting ready for the final stretch here. Crazy win. I'm already seeing the comments. Everyone's got a lot to say. Everyone's got a lot to say. I want to hear from you guys. I'm going to open up the video calls early. So I want you all to comment below. I'm sorry, not comment below. Yeah, comment below with your thoughts, and I'll go through the comments, everything, because we got a lot of things to discuss. If you guys want to call in, all you got to do is click this link that I just commented with. Click the link. I'll put in your name, turn on your video, turn on your audio, and let's chat it up because I know you guys have a lot to say. There are a lot of things to go over today. This is quite a game for the Chiefs. There are some things to go over here, but look, I'll just start by saying, and by the way, I pinned the comment for the video call. We'll comment without it as the podcast goes on. So if you haven't done so already, please just be patient. Click the link if you see it. It should be pinned. But let's start here and talk about this game right here. There are a lot of things the Chiefs need to work on. And let's start with left tackle because I'm seeing all the comments right now. It's like a Christmas tree. Everyone's talking about this Christmas miracle the Raiders had last year. And ultimately, this is a Chiefs team that keeps getting lucky. Mahomes got mugged. Yeah, Mahomes has been taking a lot of hits. Second game in a row, Mahomes has been sacked 5 times. Now, I know a couple of the sacks in the last game in the end were just Mahomes kind of giving himself up to let the clock run. But yeah, this is a Chiefs team that has a lot to work on. And I'll start with DJ Humphries because this is kind of where it needs to go. He was inactive today. The logic behind this is Andy Reid does not use players right away. Well, they used DeAndre Hopkins right away. Now, I get it. Hopkins is a tenured veteran who was, already on another team. And then you have DJ Humphries. He's a veteran as well, but he's coming off an injury. But what is the logic at this rate? Starting Wanya Morris over Kingsley Suamata. Yeah, fine. I get it. But Wanya Morris is letting guys in the backfield, whether it's Mahomes or Pacheco, Hunt, get destroyed. And the running game was not good today. That's not solely on Wanya, but any opportunity that was given for the Raiders to get the Mahomes, Wanya Morris on the left side of the offensive line, dude, he was getting dog walked by any pass rusher that was there. Dude, there were times where he was just standing and watching Mahomes get mugged. I mean, this needs to be fixed. And listen, I know I get these comments, which is always interesting to me. People say, well, why are you talking? You've never played football. Who are you? I love those comments. Those are the best comments. Okay, don't take it from me. I'm a nobody, right? So take it from a good friend of the podcast, by the way, Nick Lowry, Chiefs Hall of Famer. Will you take the word of a Chiefs Hall of Famer, someone who bleeds red and gold, someone who cares about this franchise? Will you at least take their word for it? I love how he starts it off by saying, I know this may hurt somebody's feelings. Because he's a kicker, and kickers apparently can't have opinions. He's not wrong, though. He's calling out the Chiefs franchise for constantly starting Wanya Morris. Yeah, I know he spelled Wanya wrong, but not the point. This is a Chiefs team that there's a reason why they signed DJ Humphries. Now, DJ Humphries only practicing 2 or 3 times this week. Is that a better option than Wanye Morris and Kingsley Suamataia combined? Absolutely. Absolutely. Taylor, I appreciate it. And listen, I know there are a lot of people who say those kinds of things, but they don't bother me. But this whole thing with the Chiefs left tackle, listen, the Chiefs have had terrible left tackle play for a couple of years now. And they've tried to change it so many times, they just can't get the right guy. So for right now, I mean, DJ Humphries is still a better option, even with just 2 or 3 practices over Wanye Morris. I mean, Wanye Morris, he had a couple of flashes last year when he filled in for Donovan Smith when Smith was injured, but my goodness, he has gotten worse as the season's gone on. And listen, you know what's so interesting about the Chiefs? They're taking better care of the football lately. A lot of people love to make a big deal about Patrick Mahomes and his turnover numbers. Well, he hasn't turned the ball over a whole lot lately. He really hasn't. So what is the narrative now? That the Chiefs can't finish games? Okay. I mean, I just saw Detroit, who supposedly blows out everybody. They kind of got a lucky win with Chicago not knowing what the hell they were doing. That led to a firing. But obviously this is a much different situation here. Kevin says you're totally inviting a Humphries injury. I mean, he's medically cleared, is he not? Isn't that what was brought out by his agent? And that's why the Chiefs went and signed him? I mean, I assume he's healthy and ready to go. And by the way, if you guys want to comment, weigh in with your thoughts, the link is posted again. I'd love to hear from you guys. I see a couple of people waiting on hold. I'll get to you guys shortly, but I just think this is a Chiefs team that recognizes what's going on. Bear with me one moment here. Okay. Just had to answer a text there. The Chiefs, they're getting, I mean, Mahomes is getting destroyed. So this is something that needs to be addressed, and they have addressed it. I mean, how much longer do we got to wait for DJ Humphries? Because the following game against the Chargers, yeah, you got a nice little mini bye, but boy, a mini bye is not going to help if you cannot pass protect for Patrick Mahomes. That's the biggest part here. And there were some missed opportunities. It's not all on the pass protection, but Mahomes has got to hit Xavier Worthy on that play. Could have been an easy walk-in touch-up. Listen, Worthy's creating a lot of great separation, but boy, he is just not getting the ball from Patrick Mahomes on those deep plays. And that's got to change. 100% needs to change. I know there are a lot of thoughts here. I'll read your guys' comments as we go on. Why was Kelsey off the field first? Yeah, I noticed that. I think he was upset because of the he didn't get to break the record. I think he had a lot of people in town for the game. I remember Tony Gonzalez. He needed 2 yards to break the record for most receiving yards in NFL history by a tight end, and the Chiefs did not get the ball to him because they did not want to risk anything, a pass late in that situation. So he was actually upset and didn't talk to him immediately. And that was when the Chiefs snapped a 12-game losing streak. So, the Chiefs are happy because they snapped the 12-game losing streak, but he was upset because he could not break the record at home. He broke it a week later in Carolina, which was funny because he broke the record, but then he actually he damn near lost the record back because he almost lost several yards on a play. All right, enough of me talking. I know you guys have a lot of comments to get into. Let's start with Michael. He is hitting leadoff tonight. Michael, welcome into the Chiefs Zone podcast. How are you, sir?
I mean, I don't know how much more my heart can take watching these games, but I'm doing all right. It's just like, I think at this point, I think Wanye and Juwan are just trying to get Patrick Mahomes killed because they're pissed that everybody hates them. Because I don't know what's going on. It's just play after play. Mahomes is running for his life, and if we're not careful, he's gonna get hurt or something's gonna happen to him before we even make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. This is why they signed DJ Humphries, but this is definitely an issue. Like, you got to protect Patrick Mahomes, and the fact that they're not doing that is certainly hurting this football team, and I just don't know, like, how long do we need to wait for DJ Humphries? That's the part that's very confusing to me. They've got to use him sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I have a feeling I think they'll use him in the game next week, hopefully, because we can't keep doing this. I mean, I wish we could replace both of them. Only unfortunately, he can't play both sides. He can't play left and right tackle at the same time. So hopefully just replacing one of them will fix the issues for the time being until we can hopefully draft somebody next year. But how about it's just like, even if it wasn't just like Mahomes getting tackled or hit, like Pacheco made that beautiful run, and then what happened right after that? Penalty. We made some other nice plays to get close to the red zone, and then it was just, again, penalty by Taylor, like just over and over again. It's like Wanya is allowing Mahomes to get hit, and Juwan is just getting penalized left, right, back to back, like constantly, to keep us out of the end zone. If those penalties that he was letting up didn't happen, it wouldn't have even been a close game. But this happens every single week with him, where it's just penalty after penalty that kills good drives.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's not very pretty. The Chiefs certainly should have scored more in this game. And Michael, I'll let you go. I appreciate you calling in, and you take care of yourself. Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate all you do for our country, serving our great country. I just feel like this offensive line really has been the weak point. This is something that's been going on for a couple of years now, third season in a row. And the Chiefs need to, I mean, I don't know. Is there a Black Friday sale for a right tackle? Because the Chiefs need 2 tackles. For now, there's only 1. James says maybe try to get Frank Clark back. I don't know what Frank Clark's going to do differently. I mean, listen, they got Omenihu back, and I thought he played okay. He wasn't great. I don't think he was terrible either, but I don't know what that's. Listen, you got to have Derek Thomas there, but the Chiefs could not defend these receivers. Jacoby Myers was getting big plays. You had Brock Bowers out there torching the Chiefs defense each and every single week. The Chiefs struggling against the tight end. It's just bad. It's really bad. I don't know what Frank Clark would do differently, especially he's been available for a couple of years now. I don't think he was on a team last year. I think he was let go by Denver. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. Bob, you're on the Chiefs Zone podcast. What's going on, Bob?
Hey, Vars. Man, where do we start? This was a real shit game, man. And I'm gonna speak from my heart, because I'm a diehard Chiefs fan. But I'll tell you what, I could fucking put a fucking line together a lot quicker than these motherfuckers can. Okay. And I'm sick and tired of watching the same shit over and over because they can't fix something. Is it Reed, or is it the other jackass that's come in here and tamper with our offense? And our defense, we're blitzing so much, man. All they do is get the ball off, and people are out of position. Yeah. This team is in disarray, man. This team has no destiny on where it's going or what time table they're on. They're lost, man. They stopped running the ball. They're making mistakes like they're a 2-9 team. They're playing down to everybody's level, man.
Yeah, and to go back to and Bob, I think I remember seeing your comment at halftime that they weren't really committing to the run. Pacheco, he ran 7 times for 44 yards. He had a 34-yard run. I would have to double check this, but I think that's the longest run by a Chiefs running back this year, maybe by a Chief this year. Kareem Hunt's longest run was for 17 yards. They literally down the line split even between Pacheco and Hunt, 7 carries each. Pacheco ran for 44, Hunt ran for 15.
Yeah. And they had P Ryan in there a couple of times. That's still under 25 carries for all them backs, man.
Yeah.
And it'd be different if these guys was getting some running these open routes and clearing out over the middle, and they're popping them to them, but these guys aren't catching a cold right now. Number 8, he caught us a couple of nice balls. I'm so pissed I can't even think of their names right now, man.
No, I got you.
And McDuffie, what the fuck is with McDuffie?
Yeah, he's
got lead in his ass or what? I mean, the guy is getting fucking toasted. He can't tackle. He can't cover. I mean, I mean, what are we going to do, man? I mean, we got Slowfoot. They just put on the bench, Johnson. I could outrun that son of a bitch, and I'm 70. I'm telling you, man, it's
show better
terrible.
offer than Wanye Morris.
It's not good football to watch, man.
No,
it really isn't. And if they can repeat, I mean, it's it would be a miracle, man.
Yeah. Listen, they didn't look good at this time last year. And Bob, I appreciate the phone call, the energy. You bring it each and every single week. So thank you for the call. Look, they looked like this last year. Now, the issues they had last year compared to right now, much different. The drops were bad today. Even Hopkins had a drop. Kelsey had a drop. Gray had a drop. Those hurt for sure. And Hopkins hardly ever drops a pass in his career. I don't know how many he's had in his career. It's not a lot. It's really not a lot. But man, that was just frustrating. And the whole thing with the defensive backs too. I'm seeing some comments, by the way, about Snead. I mean, listen, I miss Snead and his skill set, but he's hurt right now. They had Nazeeh Johnson. They took him out of the game. And they went out there and put in Keith Taylor for a little bit. Then they went to Josh Williams. I mean, I don't want to say it was great, but you weren't letting Aiden O'Connell torch you throwing the ball to Jacoby Myers. He still did some good things in this game, including to McDuffie. Yeah, McDuffie, I will say, has taken a little bit of a step back these past couple of games. Listen, even the best players at their positions, they have a little bit of a stretch here where they tend to struggle. They'll go through their issues and whatnot. And it's just, it hasn't been good for McDuffie lately. I don't know how much of it is missing someone opposite of him that's an all-pro type of football player. I know Snead was never an all-pro, but he played like one. Certainly should have been one last year. I don't know. Mick, I see your comment here. 4 healthy backs and no commitment to the run, not even with 2:30 left to seal the game. That 3-2 deep, third and second deep ball. Yeah, that was. Here's the thing. Now, Mick, you're saying that's a worse play call. Okay, a little bit of an exaggeration. Can we agree following the game? I'll say this. Was that a bad play call? In theory, yes, because it failed. But it worked. Xavier Worthy torched the cornerback. I told you guys coming into the game, these cornerbacks for the Raiders, they're not very good. They're really not. And Worthy, I mean, he created separation. He tricked him on that route running there. And Mahomes just didn't connect with him. That should have been a walk-in touchdown right there. My guess is Worthy might have gone in, but maybe he just slides to take a knee and let the Chiefs just run out the clock because the Chiefs would have had a first down and the Raiders had no timeouts. But I don't know. It's just it's frustrating because this guy was supposed to be the new Tyreek Hill, and we haven't seen those deep passes there. They've only connected on really one of those big ones. So hopefully the Chiefs can be better about it as they go on. This is when Rashee Rice started to pick things up last year. Worthy, he's getting involved on those short intermediate routes, and you heard Kirk Herbstreit kind of bring that up during the game. But man, those deep passes for a first-round draft pick with the hype and the what was advertised about him, yeah, it's not there, and that needs to be better. If you guys want to call in, the link is in the chat box right there. I'll comment with it again. Would love to hear from you guys. D Show has been waiting very patiently here. D Show, what's your name?
Daryl.
Daryl, what's up, Daryl? What's on your mind?
I don't know, just totally frustrated. You just watch the games and they just want to find a way to play down to the other team's level. It drives you nuts.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I can't remember if someone texted me this because I was texting a couple of friends, a couple of buddies of mine, or if I saw this on Facebook or Twitter. Someone did say the Chiefs are playing like a 2-win football team, which the Raiders are a 2-win football team, and can't really disagree with what you saw on the field.
Yeah, pretty ugly. I don't really have a lot to say, so I'll let you go, but thanks for getting me on.
Okay, well, I appreciate it, Daryl. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for being patient there. When does Hollywood Brown come back? Jim's asking. They're saying he should be able to start practicing in mid-December, and that Jonathan Jones said the earliest he could come back is the Christmas Day game against the Steelers. So there's that. Listen, it's frustrating. I agree. I agree with Daryl. I agree with Bob. I agree with Mike. I agree with all of you guys in the comments and all of the frustrations that are out there. Renee says it's very obvious that there are issues off the field which are affecting on the field play. What off the field issues are we referring to? Because people brought this up last year with Kelsey, and people thought he was distracted. He was focused more on Taylor and all this stuff. And I mean, I don't know. The Chiefs ended up three-peating. Now, is this the way you want to go about winning a championship? I mean, listen, no, of course not. The offensive tackles need to be better. And if the offensive tackles were better, I truly do believe the Chiefs would be a much better football team, scoring a lot more at least. But I will say this, the Chiefs won. Would you guys rather be discussing a loss? Would you rather be discussing Daniel Carlson redeeming himself and kicking I don't know what that would have been, a 52-yard field goal after missing from, what was it, 55, 56, and 58? Would you rather be discussing that right now? Because I think the tone would be a little bit different. And listen, I'm not denying the Chiefs have some issues and they've got things to work on. I've been saying this for a long time. But the play's got to be better. It's got to be better. They're winning for now, and that's all you can ask for. Listen, they clinch a playoff spot. Lewis says this feels like a loss. It kind of does, you know, with the with all of the responses and reactions. Look, I remember this in 2021. Remember 2021, the 3-4 start. Mahomes was playing terrible. The Chiefs were leading Mahomes specifically was leading the NFL in interceptions, and they got their asses kicked by Tennessee in a 24-3 game. The Titans defense absolutely destroying Mahomes to the point where they actually had to pull him out of the game and put Chad Henne in there. But they kind of turned things around. They went on an 8-game winning streak. Beginning of the winning streak, not pretty. They barely beat the Giants. And I still remember the narratives after that Giants Monday Night Football game where people weren't quite sure how to feel about the Chiefs moving forward, what the near future would look like. But the Chiefs found a way to still reach the AFC Championship game. And listen, I know the AFC Championship game, like, that's nice because the Chiefs keep reaching it with Mahomes. They've never not made the AFC Championship game with Mahomes, but that's not the standard anymore, especially right now when you're trying to make history and go for that three-peat. But there are a lot of things that need to be worked on before they three-peat. I know a lot of people will say, well, if Isaiah Likely's toe was in, but it wasn't in bounds. If not Tennessee. If Cincinnati's rookie didn't commit pass interference, but he did. And the Falcons running a terrible play on 4th and inches. I mean, that's what happened, and the Chiefs just exploited that. If the Broncos did not let that field goal get blocked, well, that's what happened. The Chiefs are finding ways to win games. Are there a lot of very close games right now? A lot of one-score games? Listen, not just one-score games. There are like moments where one thing goes differently, the Chiefs could lose. Yeah, but those things are not happening. So I'll take the way the Chiefs are winning right now. Listen, last year was not the prettiest of either, even in the playoffs. Remember the game against Baltimore in the AFC Championship game? No, Kansas City didn't score in the second half. Buffalo, I mean, listen, McCole Hardman kind of gave the Bills an extra life. You know, like in Mario, when you get that green mushroom, you get that one life back when you're down to 0. McCole Hardman gave the Buffalo Bills that green mushroom right there, and they gave them a chance to kick the field goal. Now they missed. And I see Buffalo fans saying, well, if he made it, well, first of all, there was some time left. Mahomes would have done something. Second of all, if Hardman doesn't fumble, the Chiefs are going to go up by 10 points. So people always want to go to these what-if scenarios. And then the 49ers blocked PAT. That was a big difference maker in sending the game into overtime. So all of these things right here, I mean, the Chiefs, yeah, there are a lot of very close games go right now. Yeah, John, I think you mentioned, I think they said this on the broadcast, 14 straight wins, one-score win, something along those lines. I don't remember the exact score or how that was. They're winning their football games. Like, that's what matters the most right now. You know, a team that has a lot of one-score games right now and they're not winning? The Cincinnati Bengals. And listen, I know I like to give Bengals fans a hard time because they like to give me a hard time and I like to dish it back. But this is not me trying to talk shit or anything. Genuinely, like, the Bengals are involved in a lot of close games. And if one or two things go differently for the Bengals, they probably have a winning rate. They might be leading their division right now, but they're not. You maybe in an alternate universe like Doctor Strange and the Avengers, they can maybe send us to this alternate universe and maybe we can discuss those scenarios there. But that's not reality at the end of the day. The Chiefs are out there winning football games in maybe the ugliest fashion we have ever seen in NFL history. I've said this before and I'll say it again. You're getting every team's best shot. Is that any excuse to play the way they are right now? Absolutely not. But if you're the Chiefs, you got to take these. And I guarantee you, tomorrow morning, when the Chiefs get back for film study, Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, the entire offensive coaching staff, they really got to not hold back. I mean, let it be known. And hopefully they're letting it be known to their players. This is not okay. You got to play much better. It's nice that they're winning, but I don't disagree with the narrative that there will be one time. It just takes one team in January to flip that switch. Eric said the 2004 Patriots had just as many consecutive one-score games as the Chiefs did. Yeah, and I saw that tweet from who's the guy who used to be with ESPN? I can't remember his name right now, but I did see him put that out there. Tom says, us asking the what ifs. You just asked the what if Daniel Carlson would have made those field goals. Yeah, Tom, but he didn't. I also said that he didn't make those field goals. So at the end of the day, again, like, there are so many scenarios we can go over with what. By the way, what if Kadarius Toney was not dropping passes? What if he didn't drop the pass against Detroit? What if Marquez Valdes-Scantling didn't drop the pass against the Eagles? My point in saying all of that, Tom, is everyone always wants to talk about the what ifs when the Chiefs barely win games, but no one wants to bring that up when the Chiefs barely lose games. So listen, there are a lot of close games in the NFL. The Chiefs are involved in a lot of down to the wire, crazy heart palpitation type of football games. That's the difference. The Chiefs are involved in a lot of those. What is Matt Nagy gonna say or do? I mean, it's a good question. That is a great question. I don't know what exactly he'll do, but I just don't think that this is a football team right now. They've got the number 1 seed, and they've got to find a way to keep it because they're going to have a very tough Chargers football team coming into Arrowhead next week. What is up with Kelsey? Reed was talking with him on the sideline, and after the game, he went straight to the locker room without shaking hands. Yeah, that's been brought up a couple of times. Nobody mentioned the Reed talking to Kelsey on the sideline at one point during like the fourth quarter, Rebecca, and I'm glad you brought that up. Listen, Kelsey hardly does any media anymore. I'd be very curious to know if he spoke to the media today after the game, but I don't know. Maybe the Chiefs are just holding him off because he says a lot on the New Heights podcast. I don't know. I'm not sure why the Chiefs are not letting him talk. So Andy Reid's talking to the media right now. He says we were 1 for 5 in the red zone and have to do better. Nick Bolton, the only one who was banged up, but came back and finished the game, got the game-winning fumble recovery. Yeah. Boy, Wanye Morris spoke to the media. He says there's no better time to learn than when you get your ass beat. It sucks to get your ass beat, but when you can have 2 responses, you can lay down or you can get back up and try something new. I'm going to try something new. Well, you better, because there's a guy on the team named DJ Humphries who is going to take your job pretty soon. Yeah, I think Kelsey is frustrated. Listen, I know he's been saying this on the podcast, and he said it last year. He keeps saying, we're going to figure it out. We're going to get it right. Can we trade Bieniemy for Nagy? I would love that. Trade Nagy for Bieniemy. I meant to say, yeah. The team played awful today, and they all knew it. They looked pissed afterwards. Yeah, you know what? Again, I want to go back to that Giants Chiefs game from Monday Night Football a few years ago, because I still remember the body language after that game. Even when the Chiefs won, it didn't feel like a win. The players were kind of they weren't really in the mood for it. So Andrew, the way you're describing the Chiefs after this game kind of reminds me a lot of that Chiefs Giants game. So yeah, listen, hopefully they can figure it out, because you can't let this kind of mentality carry over to you got a really tough game next week, and you've got a Chargers football team. And by the way, who do the Chargers play? Let me just look and make sure, because they're not too far behind Kansas City. I mean, I know they lost to the Ravens, and that really did help Kansas City, but they play the Falcons. Yeah, I think they're going to win that game. The Falcons have been kind of up and down this year, but the Chargers are not too far behind Kansas City. And that's a game that they definitely want to win next Sunday night. It's going to be a big night. It's alumni weekend for the Chiefs. Tom Bahali's going into the Ring of Honor, but Chiefs have got to play better. And that Chargers team has a pair of pass rushers who know what to do. And Wanya Morris saying that he's going to try something new, bro, whatever this new thing is you want to try, you better do it and figure it out in the next 9 days. Because if not, the Chiefs are going to try something new, and that's called DJ Humphries. I mean, it's the truth. Listen, Wanya Morris lost his starting spot to Kingsley Suamataia, and part of it was because he was injured during training camp. We were going to get a left tackle competition going on in the preseason. We didn't get that because Wanya was hurt. So Kingsley Suamataia kind of earned the job by default there. Didn't look terrible the first game. Looked absolutely terrible the second game against Trey Hendrickson. And even when he came back against Denver, he looked worse. Almost like he had not learned anything during those few weeks when he was sitting on the bench. So I don't know what the solution is, because you already lost your starting spot to a rookie. He was terrible, so they put you back because that guy was bad. He's slightly better, not much better. This is why you signed DJ Humphries. I'd like to think this is going to change things for the Chiefs offensive line, at least on the left side. Jawan Taylor, I mean, for crying out loud, how difficult is it to line up? Your head has to be basically on the same line as to where the center's hip is, if I have that correct. Center or the guard. I can't remember which one it is. You got to figure that out. I mean, this has been going on for more than a year now. And by the way, I'm seeing a lot of questions. People are asking, when is Humphrey going to play? I don't know. I mean, I hope it's going to be next week. He's going to start biting people. I mean, Mike Tyson style, maybe. With clinching a playoff spot early with early bye week, do you think the Chiefs will rest the player if they get the bye week early? Yes, but they haven't clinched the bye week. They've only clinched a playoff spot. So that needs to be. Listen, a lot of things need to happen from now until then. The Chiefs have got to play better football, because they're going to be playing some better football teams. I know the Houston Texans have not been playing good football, but they are on Kansas City's schedule. That's a team the Chiefs are going to have to face, and they're still leading the AFC South. And I think they might win the South, because Indianapolis is not very consistent. As far as other teams on the schedule, I mean, you got the Chargers next week. You got the Browns, who are not a good football team, but with Myles Garrett, yeah, I mean, you just can't ever write off the fact that the Browns could pull off an upset by using Myles Garrett in that football game to go after Patrick Mahomes. That strategy absolutely can help the Browns pull off an upset there. And then you got the Steelers on Christmas, and I think the Steelers have the best defense. I know they did not look like they didn't look good for a couple of weeks, but that's still a defense that I'm scared of. I know there's this weird back and forth between Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. I think TJ Watt is the better of the two right now. I think Trey Hendrickson is the best pass rusher in the NFL at the moment, but unfortunately he's on a team that's struggling to find wins. The Chiefs, they're not struggling to find wins. It's happening in the most craziest ways, but they are finding ways. And listen, I'll be honest, if you guys told me the Chiefs would have only scored 19 points, I would have been very scared. So 19 points, I mean, that's just one touchdown. And after that, no touchdowns the rest of the way. You have 4 field goals from Matthew Wright. Matthew Wright attempted a 59-yarder. He missed. I mean, I'm not really going crazy over that. It's a 59-yarder. But the Chiefs have got to be better than that. Let me see. Let's look at some of the other box scores and stats here in this Chiefs Raiders game, because time of possession was something Kansas City was dominating in this football game in the first quarter, and the Raiders turned things around. 31 minutes and 12 seconds. The Raiders beat the Chiefs when it came to time of possessions. The Raiders had more first downs, 20 first down to Kansas City's 18. The Raiders, they had 434 yards of total offense. Chiefs just 329, 100 yards more in favor of the Raiders. But when they got to Kansas City side of the field, that's where they tended to struggle and could not find a way to get through. And they only got one field goal out of Daniel Carlson. Daniel Carlson's a really good kicker. I mean, he missed 2 field goals the first 3 weeks and had not missed a single field goal since week 3 until today. He missed 2 field goals on the season coming into the game. He missed 3 today, 55, 56, and 58. And I'll be honest, that 58-yarder, in their second to last possession, I was shocked they went for it. What was the down and distance? It was a big play. It was 4th and 11. It was 4th and 11, and the Chiefs, that was when they kept batting passes down. Karlaftis batted a pass down. Justin Reed got a hand on a football. So the Chiefs got 2 hands on the football in back-to-back plays, and they forced a long field goal. I get it. It was 4th and 11 from the 40-yard line, but given that Carlson had already missed 2, and now he's attempting a longer one from the 50 range, I was really surprised. If we're being honest, I think the Raiders did the Chiefs far more favors in this game. Constantly going for those long field goals, the fumble right there. They really did Kansas City some favors in this game. When Aiden O'Connell connected with Jacoby Myers on that not Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker on that deep pass there. Oh, I had my concerns. I had my concerns for sure. And by the way, Trey Tucker had just 1 catch for 58 yards. Aiden O'Connell, I mean, he had a 43-yard pass to Jacoby Myers that almost went for a touchdown. He had Brock Bowers on a couple of big plays, the longest for 33 yards. I told you guys this morning, I said Brock Bowers was going to have a really good game, and he did. 10 catches for 140 yards. DeAndre Hopkins got going in the second half. He only had 1 catch in the first half. I think it was 1 for 35. He finished with 4 for 90. Hopkins is starting to get more and more involved with the Chiefs offense. But here's what I don't like when I'm looking at the stat line: the amount of targets versus the amount of receptions. Hopkins was targeted 9 times, only caught 4 of them. Kelsey was targeted 13 times, caught 7 of them. Gray had 4 catches, and then 2 more targets. Worthy had 5 catches with 2 more targets. I mean, the stat lines don't look terrible on the receiving side. Worthy had 5 catches for 54 yards. Gray had 4 for 58. He's continuing to be a reliable weapon for the Chiefs. Kelsey had 7 for 68. I already mentioned Hopkins, 4 for 90. But there were a lot of missed opportunities as well with all 4 of those players. Gray, Kelsey, and Hopkins all had a drop in this game, and they all happened like around the same time too. They weren't all on consecutive plays, but I think they were all during the third quarter, if I recall correctly. And then Worthy, that deep pass right there, you had him. He torched the quarterback that was defending him, and Mahomes just missed. You can't let that happen. You absolutely can't. And we keep saying they're going to get better about it, but we haven't seen that happen yet. We haven't seen that happen yet. I'll read some of you guys' comments now. By the way, this is going to be the last call for you guys to click the link for a video call. I just commented with that link again, so if you haven't done so, call in, because this is the last call for it. Who would replace Taylor at this point? I think you're talking about Jawan Taylor. I don't know. I mean, listen, Driscoll was inactive today, so the Chiefs had 3 offensive tackles. They've got 5 on the main roster. That's not gonna stick. I think they want to keep it one more game with 5 tackles just to see how Humphries is gonna look. But boy, if they don't figure it out, I'm concerned. I am really concerned. Chase said it's off the center sip. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It was either the center or the guard, but yeah, it's a center. That's what I thought. We can't afford to let Wanya Morris to find something new. The management must find something new effective yesterday. That's a great call, Elena. That is a great call indeed. Yeah, Taylor has been told that since week 1 of last season. It's listen, I felt like it was weird because he was kind of getting picked on for the weirdest things that even Lane Johnson was doing. But as far as like not lining up correctly, yeah, that definitely needs to be better. And by the way, what is with him and his right leg? The way he's like twisting his ankle back. I mean, it's not bothering him because he keeps doing it. I don't know. It's a weird way he's lining up. I don't know if that's playing a role or if he's comfortable doing that. But yeah, that was just an observation. I've noticed that for a long time, but it just hit me today with that because of all the offensive tackle talk. We're going to have to put a player or a coach to spot check Taylor. The fact that, listen, I have a question for Andy Heck, the offensive line coach. Why is this being allowed to happen each and every single time? I don't get it. How? Yeah, Nick, I'm with you. I mean, not having a bye week in the middle of the season and having it very early makes it far more pertinent that the Chiefs need this postseason bye. You don't have 2 teams with the bye anymore from each conference. They changed that a couple of years ago. So Kansas City, they need to step it up. They need to step it up and play better because that number 1 seed is going to be valuable. I said this before. If the Chiefs can get a 1 seed and get that postseason bye, it'll help them. The Chiefs didn't have a postseason bye last year, but in week 18, they rested their starters except for Chris Jones because he had an incentive. But Kelsey didn't play, Mahomes didn't play. And what happened? You saw the Chiefs offense play much better in the playoffs. Still had issues, but they played better. And I think that bye week in week 18 did wonders for that offense. So if you can get that postseason bye, and if you can clinch it before week 18, that is going to bode well for your offense. And I think that's really going to make a difference. Kelsey went off in the playoffs last year. Had more than 30 catches and more than 300 yards in 4 postseason games. And the Chiefs have never played 4 postseason games ever, if I recall correctly. So the fact that Kelsey and the Chiefs offense, they were able to play really well in 4 playoff games, I mean, that's huge. Absolutely huge. It sounds like someone's drag racing in my neighborhood. I don't know who that is. Yeah, you're definitely going to need a little bit of help from the 49ers. I'll be honest, I'm kind of going back and forth with that Chargers game. I really am. Anybody still watching the post-game show on Prime? Casey Wolf looks like Tony dropping passes. I am not watching that, but it's a good thing Casey Wolf is not on the field. If we can watch a Steelers game, it's on Netflix. Yeah, that's it'll be on Netflix. And the NFL, apparently, they were told you don't want to watch it. Watch what? I don't know what this is in reference to. This game, I mean, I'm going to watch this game again. But boy, it was ugly. I'd like to see Doug Peterson come back. Yeah, that'd be an interesting call. I've always liked Doug Peterson, but he hasn't done really well as a head coach for the Jaguars. I mean, obviously he won a Super Bowl in Philly, but he was let go shortly afterwards. We still have to play the Broncos again. Yeah, and that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be on the road. And that's probably going to be a game where Denver is either fighting to stay in the playoffs because they've got the 7th seed now, or they're going to be fighting to try to improve their standing in the wild card spot. So yeah, I can see Denver being a challenge on the road. Where I am, I understand they need to protect Mahomes, but he had a lot of receivers open and he overthrew them. That is true. I love Mahomes, but he needs to work on getting better. Yeah, 100%. Look, if Patrick Mahomes gets that ball to Worthy in the end there, I think the narrative does change a little bit. Just a little bit, but it would definitely be a big shift at the same time because of the fact that that would have been the game-sealing touchdown right there. The Raiders were the better team today, but a win is all that matters at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm with you, Matthew, and I've been beating that drum each and every single time the Chiefs win. A lot of close games, but that's what you want right now. You want to find ways to win. Mahomes overthrew several receivers tonight. Yeah, I'm with you, Chase. It was happening all game long. It's funny how every Chiefs hater is saying the refs whistled to play dead for an illegal formation, but fail to understand the rule book because it's a continuation play. Yeah, listen. People need a rule book if they really want to pick apart the whole thing. And I wasn't quite sure the whole illegal formation. I didn't really see that. I was more paying attention on the replays to the center and the quarterback. And their right tackle kind of kicked the ball back unintentionally, not knowing it. So that actually helped because it then bounced off Aiden O'Connell and then it went forward to Nick Bolton. So that helped for sure. We can no longer rely on field goals. Hell, they are on kicker 3 already. Yeah, and listen, Matthew Wright played great, actually. He missed the 59-yarder. I mean, that's not anything to really beat up a kicker about. Even if that was like an attempt to win the game, it's like, okay, can you really be upset at a kicker for not making it from 59? And it's a 59-yard field goal. Yeah, Juju's been quiet, but look, McColl's been quiet. His progress has just been really bad in the NFL. I don't know, man. I'm just not sure because I'm just thinking like Juju has the talent, but let me step back a bit here. Let's say DJ Humphrey starts next week. And I don't think he will, but let's say he does. Could that pass protection really give Mahomes the time he needs? Because if you can put a little bit of help for Juwan Taylor, I think ultimately what's going to happen is Mahomes is going to have the time he needs to get the ball to open receivers. Kelsey is getting open. It's not that he's struggling to get open, but Mahomes is having a hard time getting it to him. Some of it's on Mahomes, and some of it is on the offensive line. Isaiah Pacheco gave Kareem Hunt a lot of credit for stepping up in his absence, says he's been able to focus on the chips, checkdowns, and small details to improve his game while he's been out. It felt awesome to get back that contact again. Really ready to let that anger out on the field. It was a blessing. Man, he looked like he missed the game. You could tell, especially with that big 30-yard run he had, 33, 34-yard run, whatever it was. You hope that Isaiah Pacheco coming back is going to help this football team because they need that 1-2 punch right now. Kareem Hunt's yard per carry average has not been the best recently at that running back position either. Kareem Hunt hasn't had if Frank says that better not be Rashi Rice racing by. Oh, come on, man. It's just hard to kind of see right now. Like Hunt hasn't had those big home run plays. Don't get me wrong. He's provided a nice little boost for the offense. I've said that many times, but hasn't had the big home run play. I think him and Pacheco can be a good 1-2 punch, and I hope they improve because it certainly needs to be better from today. Absolutely needs to be better from today. Pacheco, what did Pacheco average? 6.3 yards per carry. Yeah, Kareem Hunt was averaging less than a yard per carry, and Pacheco was like averaging 2 yards per carry. Maybe it was the other way around. Pacheco finished with 6 yards per carry. Kareem Hunt was 2 yards a carry. Not good. Hunt's longest one was 4 yards. It's got to be better. It's got to be much better for sure. For those who missed it earlier, for those of you who come later in the podcast live stream, I shared this early on. Chiefs Hall of Fame kicker Nick Lowry, he called out the Chiefs for continuing to use Wanye Morris. And yeah, I mean, it's just one of those weird situations where what is Kansas City trying to do? Like, I mean, is Wanye Morris, is he on his last chance right now with this team? Because he should be. I get that he's starting over Kingsley Suamata, yeah, because he's not any better. But man, DJ Humphries, I would have liked to see him today, even with just a couple of practices. I still think would have been a better option over Wanye Morris. Waiting for Hardman to run a kickoff back to the house. It'll happen eventually. I hope so. We haven't really seen much of that from Hardman this year. Hardman's just, I know he was the Mr. Walk-Off guy, but he just has not been good. He was way better his first 2 years. Like, what happened to that player? It's not like he's in his 30s. That dude's like, what, 26? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's confusing the hell out of me. If you're not getting sacked, then maybe he could get his timing right. I hope so. 5 sacks, 2 games in a row. Yeah. I certainly think would be a lot better. can you explain to me why they would not go for the yards on 4th and 2? I think you're talking about near the end of the game. It looked like they were going to. It looked like it, but I mean, they called a timeout when the punt team was on the field, and they were gonna. Mahomes put his helmet on, so I thought they were gonna do something, but I don't know. Jet McKinnon was a great run back blocker for Mahomes. Absolutely. Orlando Brown definitely can thank him for that. The janitor at Arrowhead is better than Morris. Yeah. Might be. I'm a better choice than what Jay Morris, Serena says. You wish they would have kept Cornell Powell. Why? What was Cornell Powell going to do? I mean, I don't know what difference he would have made. He stuck around for a long time, but they finally just let him go recently. I don't know what he would have done differently, honestly. Raiders had every chance to win. I think the Chiefs are throttled back, knowing they can play not their best and still win, saving their best for the playoffs. I just don't get that play call, throwing on 3rd and 2 for a deep play. I would have liked to keep the clock rolling. Well, the clock would have stopped because of the 2-minute warning, Chris. It ended up surpassing the 2-minute warning after the punt. So the Raiders were not able to get that as their extra timeout. But let me go back to the AFC Championship game. How did the Chiefs put away the Ravens? On 3rd and I think it was 9. What'd they do? They threw the pass to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He had to turn around, backpedal, fell on his back, and made that catch. This one was like, I mean, every college football player is making that catch right there. And I'm not putting this on Worthy. I'm putting that one on Mahomes. So I think that's the logic there. I hope that answers your question about the 4th and 2 play call there. He dances more than he advances. Yeah. That was my thought. You called a timeout and then not go for it. Yeah, that was confusing to me. I wasn't quite sure what the whole situation there was, why the Chiefs did not decide to go for a play. Like what were you calling a timeout for? Because they were lining up. They were getting ready. They are replaying the Chiefs Raiders on NFL Network right now. Well, there you go. If you want to, I guarantee you, like, I'll go back and watch this game myself on NFL Plus, but I guarantee you I'll probably go crazy again afterwards. By the way, quick question for you guys. I don't know if you guys know the answer. For those of you who are subscribed to NFL Plus and or YouTube TV, do those apps work outside of the United States? Because I'm going to be traveling in the near future for the holidays, so I'm very curious to know if those work if you're outside of the United States. If anyone knows that and they want to email me, for those who are listening after the live stream, please let me know, because I would be very curious to know, since I am I'm trying to figure that out for my own sake. It was a win, but there's still a ton of stuff to focus and fix for the playoffs. Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. They really need to get a left tackle really bad. Yeah, really badly, Melinda. I really badly agree with you. Oh, someone else just mentioned they're replaying it. Yeah. Enjoy that crazy win right there. The craziest of all wins for the Chiefs. That's just the way it all works in Kansas City. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. What's with everyone commenting on my Facebook and Twitter, reminding me that that the game's on replay right now on NFL Network? I don't get it. But okay. Well, go enjoy the replay, I guess. My name is Farzin Vasugan. Thank you all for joining me for this episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast. It was stressful, but the Chiefs won. They're 10-1. They're in the playoffs. A lot of things to discuss here. And we will reunite. We'll regroup on Monday night when we will do another episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast. Obviously, no podcast this weekend. So enjoy watching other football teams play on the gridiron. I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.